So let's start with our favorite quarterback for championship week, week 16. This obvious choice is brought to you by Hotels.com. With Hotels.com's simple rewards program, get one free night for every 10 you stay. Our Hotels.com obvious choice quarterback for week 16, Drew Brees, is back home in the Superdome.
Yes, he is taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was a game where we just saw 2 weeks ago, playing in Tampa, the Saints and the Buccaneers, a game that we thought was going to be high scoring, even though it was in Tampa, not in New Orleans. That did not come to fruition, a 16-11 final score in that one. Got a feeling this one's going to be a little bit higher scoring, probably by about halfway through the second quarter or so. Drew Brees and the Saints go on the road a week ago, put up 48 on the Arizona Cardinals. Drew Brees doing a whole lot of everything, just like we're used to seeing from him. He got Brandon Cooks involved. He got Michael Thomas back and got him involved in the mix as well. We love Drew Brees anytime he plays at home. Has not given us a dud at home all season. No reason to think it will happen in this game against the Buccaneers. And as we always talk about in a fantasy context, Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers, I think, are going to be able to run up the score as well on New Orleans. That is great news for Drew Brees and everyone else in that New Orleans passing game. I think we're looking at something like not quite what we saw from this offense a week ago, but 35-31 certainly feels like it's in this game's wheelhouse. Love Drew Brees here in Week 16.
Yeah, Drew Brees is always great when he's at home, Beller. We know that. And even though he did have that dud against the Buccaneers a couple weeks ago, I don't expect that to happen again. He bounced back this last week with 4 touchdown passes, 300-plus yards against the Arizona Cardinals on the road. And I think he's back after a couple of substandard performances when you're talking Drew Brees in weeks 14 and 13. He's back to that comfort in the offense there. Mike Thomas is still balling. The one thing I do worry about is Mark Ingram happy? Is Sean Payton going to try and appease him and give him some extra carries at the goal line? I don't know. But I wouldn't worry about that too much. It's still Drew Brees at home. And it's still against a defense that is not, the way the Kansas City Chiefs may be playing right now, or the Denver Broncos. Passing against that defense, of course, is very difficult. Tampa Bay Bucks are a defense you can attack, and that's why Drew Brees is our Hotels.com obvious choice quarterback for Week 16. Brought to you by Hotels.com. So simple, it is the obvious choice. How about we share with you on Facebook Live our obvious choice running back for Week 16. This obvious choice is brought to you, of course, by Hotels.com. With Hotels.com's simple rewards program, get one free night for every 10 you stay. Our Hotels.com obvious choice running back for Week 16. It was a bust we were talking about. Yeah. If Todd Gurley can't do it against the San Francisco 49ers the second time around, then he won't do it at all in 2016. He did get shut down in Week 1 when the Rams offense scored 0 points, but we just saw what the Atlanta Falcons running backs did to the San Francisco 49ers. Todd Gurley should get 20-plus touches in this affair against the San Francisco 49ers, a game that's expected to be close. The Rams are actually favored at home, surprisingly, with Jeff Fisher being fired. So, Todd Gurley, here's your opportunity to give us what we thought we'd see on a more consistent basis in 2016.
Yeah, the one back who hasn't torched this team when he played him, Todd Gurley, back in Week 1, 17 carries for 47 yards. But the San Francisco 49ers, they might not go down as the worst run defense statistically in NFL history, but they're going to be in the team picture. They're going to be one of the 3 or 5 worst run defenses that we've ever seen in the NFL. And with the way the game is played today, that's really saying something, that they're going to give up so many yards in a league that is really dominated by the pass now. And Todd Gurley, I really do think you can trust him this week. I know that for most season-long Todd Gurley owners, that ship has long since sailed because you probably went like 4-9 and you're done with your fantasy regular season. But if somehow you've made it to this point, you want him in your lineup in a daily context. He is someone who is getting a value bump because of the matchup, but I still think that you can go after him. This defense, San Francisco, already allowing a franchise record in yards allowed on the ground, and they still have 2 games left to play. They've given up a 100-yard game every single week except for 2 this season. Running backs routinely getting north of 20 points in standard scoring leagues against them. There are so many things working in Todd Gurley's favor except the 15 weeks of experience we all have watching him and watching the Rams offense this week. And Tyler, I already said this to you once. I will quit fantasy football because I will not know what sort of world I am in if Todd Gurley doesn't come through with a huge game. That is the perfect summation of fantasy football, that he ruins his owner's season and then in championship week goes for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns or something along those lines. I think he has a big week this week.
It would be some kind of gnarly poetic justice if that is the case for Todd Gurley in Week 16. Todd Gurley, our obvious choice running back for this week, brought to you by Hotels.com. So simple, it is the obvious choice.